Hello everybody and welcome to another vintage cube draft. This is my third draft of the day. I'm revising my goal down from 10 to like 5 or 6, but we'll see. We got a trophy with blue-green opposition and then got a 2-1 with Bant mid-range. In the Bant mid-range deck, we first picked Little Teferi, and I think we just first picked Big Teferi here. Don't mean to double dip, but it's really good. There's also High Tide, Probe, Expressive Iteration is strong, although not a card I really want to first pick. This pack is not great. I think if there was no Teferi, I would probably first pick Probe and just stay open, or maybe High Tide, but yeah, Teferi is very, very good. I'm happy to get that one for sure. Okay, now we have a couple good options again. There's Windswept Heath, which could help with the mana, Glenlendra, and is it Signet? That is pretty close. I think I'm going to take Glen, though. Glen is really strong. In general, I do think it's good to solidify your mana early on. But Glen is one of those cards that, like, just wins in some matchups. And if you have, like, Glen and Wrath of God, basically you're covered. Like, Wrath of God straight up wins against mono red, mono white, and mono green a lot of the times. And Glen straight up wins against control and combo a lot of the time. So you really are well suited, unless your opponent's deck is just, like, ridiculously fast. Yeah, I'll take the Glen. Okay, now we have Arid Mesa, so another land that could help us. Versus Click. And I think I'll just take the Click here. We're cutting blue pretty hard. We have some good flyers. Yeah, this seems pretty good. If it was a Hallowed Fountain, I would have taken that. Okay, now we have Gideon, Ally of Zendikar. And I think that's a pretty great pickup. A couple lands that may help. Oh, I guess Overgrown Tomb is a long way away, but Lumbering Falls could be good, but Gideon is a really strong card. Now we have Disenchant, Watery Grave, Signet, Mentors, Saga, Mentor, Signet. I think I like taking the Signet here. It's not as good as an Azorius Signet, of course, but still looks pretty strong. And we could end up playing green. Okay, let's take a Wall of Omens here. Oh, well, actually, Memory Deluge. There's also Cultivate, but actually, yeah, let's take Memory Deluge. This card is really good. Wall is also good, but I think I'd rather have more blue cards in the deck if possible, and be able to build the mana base with that consideration in mind. Also, my hope is to get more 2-mana accelerants. Like having turn 2 Signet is definitely better than turn 2 Wall of Omens most of the time. This deck looks really good so far. It has a lot of expensive cards, so I wouldn't mind a couple more cheap spells, especially like Swords to Plowshares type effects, but we have some really good Planeswalkers that can win the game. We have some good value creatures to block them and also interact in other ways. Some good card draw and a bit of mana acceleration. So all the cards we have here are quite strong. The best card we could realistically get here would probably be 3-mana Teferi. That is a card that can go this late. Ooh, well, Flooded Strand is up there too. That's really good. There's also Plateau, Mother of Runes. Toxic Deluge would be really good. But yeah, let's just take the good fixing. We don't have any particular combos with this yet, but there are a lot in the format. We could get Brainstorm. We could get Jace the Mind Sculptor. We could get any card with Delve or Escape. So, and then of course we could also just end up playing 3 colors and have Flooded Strand be a tri-land. We have one more fresh pack, and then we're looking at what cards we're going to be wheeling. There was an unexpectedly absent in our first pack that could come around, and that would be a really nice one to pick up here. It's in particular good with Teferi. Just plussing it and then putting whatever permanent you're scared of on top of their library, and then next turn you can minus Teferi to put it back into their library again. We don't have counter magic. That is one serious weakness that we have at this point. Remand, Mana Leak, Spell Pierce, Mana Tide even, like any of those would be very high pickups right now. I don't think that we're going to see any because I don't think we passed any, and now we're just getting wheels, but that would be the dream. Okay, Coalition Relic is good. That's very good. Ren 7, Land Tax, Baneslayer, Angel, all fine, but yeah, let's take the Relic. even if we're just blue-white, this is quite good. It can let us play like a turn 4 6-drop if we get Elspeth Sun's Champion. It can give us double blue, double white. Just a really good versatile card. And then it'll become even better if we end up splashing another color. Like now if we want to splash green, we have 2 free sources. This will probably end up being a green source by the end of the draft. So if we can find like Oko or something like that, we're good to go. This is also looking like it could potentially be a good Palace Jailer deck, depending on what other creatures we get. But we like Click and Glenn are very good at defending the Monarchy. Okay, well, if we wanted the green splash, there's a Stirring Wildwood, but I think we got to just take the Unexpectedly Absent. That is very good interaction. Good at protecting Planeswalkers, good at breaking up combos, good against Twin, just a good card all around. Okay, I don't think we need to add lines, so we'll take Faith's Fetters, which is fine. Our curve is a little bit awkward. That's a lot of 4s. And if we get more 4s that we want, like more than Faith's Fetters, like Jace the Mind Sculptor, or I guess honestly there's not, I guess like Wrath of Gods, then maybe we'll end up cutting the Faith's Fetters, but at the very least it's a good sideboard card, and it may be a good main deck card as well. Gains you life, answers Planeswalkers, even answers like Library of Alexandria. It doesn't shut down mana abilities, but you can play it on lands. Also, if we get like 2 or 3 signets, then having a lot of 4s is really good. And just trying to be consistently like turn 2 signet, turn 3 4-drop. And any of these on turn 3 is pretty good. You can also sort of consider Glenn a 5-drop for curve purposes. You can play it with only 4 mana if you need to, but it's much better if you can immediately use it. Okay. I don't think we want Student of Warfare. We don't need Hissing Quagmire. I'll take Sakura Tribe-Elder, and if we end up playing green, that would be really good. We did pass that Stirring Wildwood, but green looks like it's pretty open. And this is exactly the kind of card you want if you have the mana to support it. Like, if you only have a few green sources, Sakura Tribe-Elder is not a card that, like, you know, if you're splashing Hydroid Krasis and you don't hit your green source till turn 8, that's fine. But that's really not okay for Sakura Tribe-Elder. However, I still think it's a really good card if we can get the mana to support it, because it's really, really good if we can play it on turn 2. Accelerate into, like, Quick Gideon, it's Fairy or something. I'm not going to prioritize green mana fixing over good blue and white spells here. So, you know, if we see a Breeding Pool and a Remand in the same pack, that's not a hard decision. But there's a Lumbering Falls. All right, sure. It would be sort of funny if we ended up drafting Bant in back-to-back drafts. But I'll do it if that's what's open. And I think this is a better start than the last one so far. I guess the last one was pretty good, but, well, I don't know. We'll see. Now we take Wall of Blossoms. Unholy Heat's fine, but, like if we were playing both red and green, I would rather have Unholy Heat than Wall of Blossoms. But we already have a green spell, and we have better mana for green than for red. And Wall of Blossoms is quite good at defending Planeswalkers and defending your life total. We have a lot of... Oh, Wall of Omens on the wheel. All right, that's pretty good. This could be a pretty sweet Yorion deck, potentially. It's very good with both walls. It's very good with Coalition Relic. That just gives you mana to get it down. It's also good with both Planeswalkers, Faith's Fetters, Glenn, Click. Yeah, I mean, this just seems like it would be a really good Yorion deck. We already have 12 spells that we're actively excited about playing. The one thing that's a little dicey if you try to play 3-color Yorion is your mana is like pretty bad. You're less likely to draw your mana fixing. You have more basics per land than you would if you're only playing like 17 lands. But you also often play a higher land count, like you could play 27 or something. Ooh, Mirari's Wake. Okay, I mean, green is open. We're definitely not playing Mirari's Wake unless we're also playing Yorion. But if we do end up with Yorion in the deck, Mirari's Wake could be sweet. So what are we looking for here? Cheap counter magic. Cheap interaction of any sort. Path to Exile, Swords of Plowshares as well. I wouldn't mind... I mean, like, Noble Hierarch would be good if we could cast it. Ooh. Alright, we'll take Time Walk. That's pretty great. There's also Garruk, Elspeth Conquers Death, Seagram Coast. I think we're hoping to wheel the Elspeth Conquers Death, which could come around. White is pretty open, but definitely taking Time Warp here. That is amazing. One of my favorite things to do is have both Teferis in play and then play this Time Walk. And you can go like plus your little Teferi, then play big Teferi, plus untap 2 lands, and immediately play instant speed Time Walk at the end of your turn. That's really broken. Okay, here we have Ancient Tomb, Upheaval, Wasteland, Karn. I think I like Ancient Tomb better than Wasteland in this deck. I don't like Thirst for Knowledge very much, although we do have 2 artifacts. I don't think I like Upheaval very much. Well, maybe Upheaval's good. It is good with Mirari's Wake. And we can dig for it with Deluge. Actually, yeah, let's take the Upheaval. This could be spicy. And also, if we end up with more green spells, it'll become even better. It's not amazing with Sakura Tribe Elder, but I still think that's fine. So still a few different directions we could go in this deck. We know we're playing a blue-white core. And then we may be splashing green, we may be playing Upheaval, we may be playing Yorion. Okay, I think we want to take the Council's Judgment here. Derogatory Speaker is good acceleration, but we're base blue-white for sure. Spellseeker is also decent. It can find Unexpectedly Absent and Time Walk, but I still think Council's Judgment is too good to pass here. I don't think Derogatory Speaker will wheel. Green is somewhat open, but it's not ridiculously open, and pretty much anyone that's playing a base green deck is going to take Derogatory Speaker over almost any spell. Tree Speaker is also not even that good for us, though. We really want our Accelerants to add blue and white. It's good with Upheaval, but outside of that, it's not amazing. Ooh. Okay, Knight of Autumn and Green Sun Zenith are fine, but we're definitely taking Mystic Confluence. There's also Trinket Mage, which I guess doesn't help us yet. Yeah, definitely taking Confluence. This card is great. All right, right now, it's looking like we're going to be just blue-white without Upheaval, but we'll see. This is a really, really good start for a blue-white control deck. The mana is a little bit bad, but other than that. Fractured Identity and Little Teferi are the 3 cards we're really hoping to pick up here. Those push blue-white control over the top. Also, Elspeth Conquers Death would be very good. Earlier, I was saying this could be a Palace Jailer deck. It still might be playable, but it's looking less and less good. Oh, no! Why are they together? Little Teferi and Swords to Plowshares. These are like the best cards we could possibly get, even Uro if we want to do the green splash. This is so hard. Teferi is, like, here's the thing. Swords to Plowshares is better against creature decks. It won't wheel, though. Probably. Teferi is so strong, though, and I don't think it'll wheel either. I'm going to take the Teferi. This is a really hard pick, and I wouldn't fault someone for taking the swords here, but Teferi is just so strong. Passing swords hurts, though. And I don't think Teferi would wheel. I've seen it wheel this late before, but I don't think that's very likely. And it's not like we have Hallowed Fountain and like all the blue fixing or anything either. Okay, now we have Walking Ballista versus Thieving Skydiver. Smuggler's Copter and Hero of Bladeholder are both situationally very good, but these don't look like the best decks for them. I think I like taking the Skydiver here. This card is very strong. Yeah, let's take that. Alright, still have no 1-mana plays, so really looking for something to fix that. Also, a Mox would be amazing here. That's not a surprise, but I think a Mox is better in this deck than in most decks. Okay, there's a Savannah, which does help a lot with a green splash, but there's also a Karn, which is just a decent card. Brain Freeze is also a good sideboard option. Are we splashing green? It doesn't look that open. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be doing that. Let's just take the Karn here. Okay, more green fixing, but again, I'm just taking Consecrated Sphinx. Pretty happy to see that. And this deck looks amazing. I mean, it's a little bit slow, but if we can get one or two more like pieces of artifact mana or pieces of cheap interaction, I really like where we're at. We have a lot of card draw. We have some good like more expensive interaction like Confluence, Faith's Fetters, Council's Judgment. Time Walk is amazing with all our Planeswalkers. We already have 4 Planeswalkers, and we still have time to get a 5th or 6th. Elspeth Conqueror's Death would be really good with Little Teferi. You can bring it back to your hand. Ooh, nice. It does wheel. There's also Phantasmal Image. So Orzhov Signet would be good as well. But I think this is worth taking here. This deck is looking sweet. Against hyper-aggressive decks will struggle, but anything that's not playing in turn 1 play, I think I like our odds against. I guess I would really like to get 1 board sweeper at least. I think there's 3 in our colors. Okay, there's Sun Gold Sentinel and Hangerback Walker. I think I like taking the Hangerback here. Yeah, this is good for defending our Planeswalkers. Oh, there's a board sweeper. But yeah, also Everflowing Chalice. That's a good pickup. Okay, I mean, this is looking sweet. The mana's bad. The mana fixing is bad. And the curve is not perfect. But we have a lot of 2s. So we're going to be able to have a play on turn 2 pretty much every game. Not having any 1s hurts a bit, but it's what you really want to avoid is having your first play on turn 3. And having your first play on turn 2 is not ideal, but it's not terrible. Okay, late Banishing Light. This is good. Uro and Golos. We don't have very good mana for Uro. I think I'm just taking Golos. It's not good yet, but if we get... it could become good if we get Sheldock Isle, potentially Colonnade, potentially Caracas. We'll take the card in our colors. And last pick, Ballista Citadel. Okay. All right, what do we have here? Mostly looking at the 2 blue cards, Cryptic Command and Treachery. Which one is better? Cryptic Command is better in general, but it's hard to cast and we have no fixing. So I think we need to take Treachery here. Also, this is looking like a very good Treachery deck because we have a lot of strong 4 and 5 mana sorcery speed plays, and like Treachery into Elspeth Conqueror's Death, Treachery into Karn, Treachery into like any of these is really good. Yeah, let's take that. There's also a chance Cryptic comes around. It's unlikely, but it is hard to cast this card unless you're very heavy blue. Okay, I'm really looking for some mana fixing, and not seeing any. We have Ancestral Vision versus Daze. There's 5 blue cards in this pack. That's sort of crazy. But I think I like these 2 better than the other ones. And I think Daze has just got to be the pick here. Ancestral was very good, but that's just setting us up to be even slower. Yeah, I'll take the Daze. And we should be able to wheel another blue card out of that pack. Okay, Jite. I don't think we have quite enough creatures for that. Spectral Procession is good, but very hard to cast. I guess I'll take the Jite. And then bring it in some matchups where it's really good. We have only 7 or 6 creatures, but we do have Gideon and Karn to make creatures. Yeah, I think I'll take the Jite speculatively. This is a pretty bad pack for us, though. Okay, Scalding Tarn, Factor Fiction, Thraben Inspector, Signet, Condemn. Lots of good options. I think I'm going to speculate on the Scalding Tarn and really, really hope to get something that helps us to fix because we have a million spells that we want to play already, and the mana is just terrible. We currently have nothing that makes Scalding Tarn better than just a basic island, but if we could get like a red-white land, if we could get, I mean, certainly a blue-white land would be amazing. Yeah, we're going for the high upside pick. What are the cards here that are definitely making the cut? I mean, most of them. I think Hangerback Walker is potentially cuttable, but all of the rest of these cards, I really don't want to cut. Our counter magic situation is not good, but it's not terrible. We have Mystic Confluence, Glen, and Daze, and then a reasonable amount of card draw to find that. But if we could get 1 Hallowed Fountain and 1 Spell Pierce, I would be very happy with this deck. Okay, none of that stuff. There's more green fixing, but again, I just don't think we're playing green. Mirror Battlesphere is a good top end piece. Karmic Guide's okay, but I think I like just taking the Suspicious Stowaway here. We don't have any cards with Delve or anything, but it's not bad just for smoothing our draw. Okay, Elspeth Conquers Death is great, but we got to take the Spell Pierce here. This is really good. Elspeth might wheel also. Yep, Spell Pierce, get in the deck. Come on. All right, we got some good stuff. Getting the Spell Pierce there in particular was good, but without a Hallowed Fountain, this deck's mana is going to be really bad. We also need to cut at least one more spell. Could be Faith's Fetters. Could be... Wow, honestly, I have no idea what to cut. I think I like having the artifact mana in this deck that has a bunch of 4s and 5s. Consecrated Sphinx is too good to cut. All of these seem too good to cut. Maybe Faith's Fetters, maybe Karn, but I don't want to cut the Karn either. Karn seems good. Maybe Faith's Fetters. These are all pretty much uncuttable. I don't want to cut the mana. I guess Wall of Omens is potentially cuttable. Yeah, the 3 cards that we could maybe cut are Wall of Omens, Suspicious Stowaway, and Faith's Fetters. Okay, there's a Marsh Flats, but we're very unlikely to get the fixing at this point. Let's just take Solitude, which is pretty good here. I'm actually very happy to get a Solitude. Okay, well, oh, Board Sweeper versus Deserted Beach is actually hard, but I think we still got to just take the fixing here. All right, so no Scalding Tarn. I think I'll cut Faith's Fetters. And Wall of Omens is so good. Let's see, does Scrubland help us? No. We don't have any black cards we want to play. Oh, let's just take Geist. This is a good sideboard card. Adoptive Vanguard is a good sideboard card for similar matchups, but I think Geist has more upside. Now we can take Riftwing. That is not the one we were hoping to wheel here. But I will take it. Spectral Procession, okay. Factor Fiction wheeled. Wow, also Thraben Inspector, but I think I'm taking the Factor Fiction. This card is really good. Overgrown Farmland, okay. Selfless Spirit for the board. And last pick, Mana Flare. All right. So we cut Suspicious Stowaway now. Man, we have so many spells. I really wish we had a little bit more fixing, but I think this deck looks sweet. I really don't want to cut the wall with all these Planeswalkers, but everything else is just pretty much uncuttable, right? Maybe we cut Factor Fiction or Memory Deluge and move them to the board, but they're so good, especially in a deck that has some mana acceleration. Solitude is definitely uncuttable. I want to have my white card count high enough for Solitude, so I don't want to cut the wall. I guess we could cut Thieving Skydiver and just bring it in matchups where we see a lot of artifacts. Sure. This Stealing a Signet costs 4. That's pretty expensive. And most people don't have a Mox. Okay, we'll run it like this. This is definitely a 16 land or 17 land deck. We cannot go lower than that. This would be 10 blue, 9 white. That seems fine. Yeah, we'll run it like this. We didn't wheel the Elspeth, but that's fine. Our mana is a little bit dicey, but our spells are great. And I'm excited to see how it goes. So I will see you in round 1. Alright, we have our opponent for round 1 with our sweet blue-white control deck. Hopefully we draw the right colors of mana and they don't play a 1-drop. And if both of those two things happen, I can't see how we lose. We're on the draw. That's a bad start. We rolled back-to-back 2s. Okay, I mean, this hand is slow like all of our hands are going to be, but we have a turn 2 interactive spell and Treachery into Elspeth Conquers Death is back-breaking on turn 5. Opponent's also on a mulligan. Alright, they like their 6, and we are ready to go. Playing against a blue deck. Soul Ring. Yikes. That is really bad for... Oh, come on. They have Soul Ring into something. Skull Clamp. Okay, that's fine. We'll play Flooded Strand and pass. Actually, playing this Flooded Strand might have been a little dicey. The problem is now if we want to use Unexpectedly Absent on turn 2... I was thinking about playing around Strip Mine, but if we want to use Unexpectedly Absent on turn 2, we have to fetch a land that I don't want to fetch. Okay, I think I'm still going to just do that, though. We're not going to have double blue, but I think putting the Soul Ring on top here is... Well, yeah, I think I am going to hit the Soul Ring here with Unexpectedly Absent, put it on top of their deck. We do really need to draw a another blue source eventually, but there's not a rush on that. So now they only have 3 mana. They're drawing Soul Ring next turn. Time Walk, alright. They have Time Walk and Soul Ring, that's a little scary, but they did miss their land drop. Now we can Banishing Light the Soul Ring. Okay, another 5 drop. We need to draw some lands. Nice, this resolves. That's very good for us. So we've seen 4, 5 lands. We have 12 left out of 29. Okay, drawing signets there is good. Yeah, I mean, if this result, we have access to lots of powerful 5 mana plays next turn. If this resolves, and the opponent only has 3 lands and 3 cards. All right, we get to just untap. Let's just jam Consecrated or Teferi. Just be mana efficient. They might counter this, but we have more threats than they have answers probably. Okay, we plus. Hopefully hit a land. Glenn, not terrible. They are a ways away from Fractured Identity. Yeah, I think we're in a really good position now. This is probably a good matchup. They just pass. That's good for us. Plus, where's the lands? There's the lands. Land Teferi or Glen? Let's be a little bit more mana efficient and play Glen here. Counterspell. Okay, that's totally fine. I guess if we played Teferi, we could have held up Solitude here, but I don't think we need Solitude up this turn. If we're trading 1 for 1 when we have a Teferi in play, that's very good for us. Looks like it is just a mirror match. All right, well, plus. Spell Pierce, good draw. I think we just jam Consecrated Sphinx then with Spell Pierce up. All right, good luck, opponent. I don't know what they have here, but I like our position a lot. Restoration Angel. Okay, that's fine. We can Solitude that if we really want to, but I don't think we care. That is annoying. We can't Spell Pierce it, so I guess we just have to let this happen. I'm not going to Solitude here. We're going to probably try and Solitude and keep the body around. We can also go for Treachery. Actually, yeah, Treachery seems pretty good. Or even Elspeth Conquers Death. Lots of good plays. We'll see what we draw. We draw Daze. That's decent. Everflowing Chalice. Okay, I think I want to play the Elspeth Conquers Death this turn. Yeah, let's get this down. We can bounce it next turn with Teferi if we really need to. Okay, that resolves. That's good. Now I'll play Chalice for 1. And we'll pass and untap some land so we can play Daze plus Spell Pierce. Yeah, they have 2 cards. I really don't think there's any way they can win. This is a mirror match, but we're just massively ahead. They do have Soul Ring, so that's scary, but... And I mean, Time Walk, and like all the cards they played in that game were good cards. But I still really like our position. Also, our weaknesses are not being exploited by them at all. Like the fact we don't have a board sweeper, we don't have many 1-mana plays. But they're not, yeah, that just doesn't matter in this matchup. Let's definitely bring in Thieving Skydiver. I think we might also want the Riftwing. I don't think we really need Wall of Omens. I do still like the Solitude. What is the other cut? These all seem good. These all seem good. Good, good, good. Treachery is not as good against this deck as some because they're likely to have things that bounce things back to their hand. Yeah, I think I'll cut Treachery. I also would love to be able to play Suspicious Stowaway. But I don't think any of these cards are really cuttable. Oh, maybe Suspicious Stowaway, the Stowaway is better than Riftwing, actually. Yeah, I think I'll run it like this. Well, actually, no, I regret this. I think on the play this would be better, but on the draw, the Riftwing is better because we're going to be a little bit more on the defensive here when we're on the draw. All right, very good hand. Signet into turn 3, Karn into turn 4, Glen with Island available. We even have Unexpectedly Absent if we need to deal with something early. Opponent has mulliganed again. Let's see, no Soul Ring here. Skull Clamp looks a bit dicey in their deck. They're more controlling than mid-range, it appears. Although they may have, like, Elspeth, either one. Hallowed Fountain, okay. Please don't have a Soul Ring. No Soul Ring, just anything other than Soul Ring. Portend, okay, that is fine. I'm okay with that. It's possible, I mean, they had Soul Ring that game and it wasn't even that good, but it opens up some pretty scary things. If they play a Planeswalker, a 4-mana Planeswalker on turn 2, it's going to be really hard for us to win. They choose to not shuffle, all right. Planes go. Pretty lucky to have 2 planes and 2 islands here. Whoa, Den of the Bugbear, okay. Let's just go Island, Signet, pass turn. Now, if they just pass, I'm just going to jam Karn. They might have a counterspell, but I think that's fine. Worst case scenario would be Dak Fade and steal the Signet. Okay, we get to untap at least. Oh, then they're going to play Click. Deceiver Exarch, huh. Tapping the planes, I guess. Okay, we actually got punished for playing Island last turn in a weird way. We have no interaction available now. Yeah, I mean, that Deceiver Exarch is good. Do they have just land Splinter Twin here? Mountain Splinter Twin? Okay, nice. They don't have it this turn, at least. We have a few options on our next turn. The most conservative line is just to talk the Deceiver Exarch. Monastery Mentor, okay. Okay, that's good with Clamp. They clamp it, they immediately equip the Clamp. Let's see what we draw. Factor Fiction was quite a bad draw. I think I'm going to get the Glen down here. Although this Mentor is really going to take over the game. But it's so mana efficient to play. Yeah, we need to play something this turn. Glen versus Karn. Glen versus Karn. Let's play the Glen. It's a little bit awkward because I don't want to have to leave up mana all the time. But I still think it's worth it to play this. If they play non-creature spells, they still get some value off of it from the Mentor. But then next turn we can play Unexpectedly Absent plus Karn. Or go Unexpectedly Absent, hold up Glen, and then end of turn use the Karn. Okay, they evoke Muldrifter. That's not too bad. Honestly, that's actually quite good for us. I mean, it's not good for us. They get to they're up a card now, but I think we can beat their card advantage. I'm more scared about them playing to the board. Okay, they just passed. That's good for us. Banishing Light. Okay, I think I'm actually going to take a turn to do that. Yeah, I think that's worth it. We'll Banishing Light the Mentor. And pass turn. Do we want to just swing for 2? I guess so. Well, no. If they animate the Den of the Bugbear, I want to be able to block. The reason to take out the Mentor there is that if they do draw even one non-creature spell, then they can clamp the token, draw 2 more. They'll probably draw more ways to make tokens, and that can just sort of spiral. And that is one way they could out-card advantage us. I'm not worried about a 2-for-1 here and there, but I'm worried about like a consistent thing. Now, if they go for the Kiki Jiki, we have unexpectedly absent to break it up. That only breaks it up temporarily. Oh, animating Den of the Bugbear, sure. I think I'm just going to put Deceiver Exarch into their deck. Actually, no, we'll bury the Skull Clamp here. And then trade with the Den. And then we can counter the Skull Clamp on the way back down so they can't get card draw going. I don't want to let them draw a bunch of cards. Ooh, well, that changes things slightly. I mean, we're still playing it this turn, but that makes Skull Clamp a lot less effective. We need to find a way to kill this Deceiver Exarch soon. They probably don't have... or Splinter Twin doesn't do anything. They could have Kiki Jiki, but they would need another red source for that. And then we just killed one of their red sources. 4 mana, Showdown of the Scald. Okay, I think I will just counter this. Mystic Confluence. Okay. Can we hold that up after playing the Relic? Yes. We could not play Karn though, so yeah, we'll just play Coalition Relic and pass turn. And I think the Mystic Confluence should seal the deal. We have a huge mana advantage, we're drawing way more cards, our hand is good, and we have an interactive spell to break up their combo. They're drawing Skull Clamp this turn. I don't really want to counter that. I think I'm going to let this resolve, and then if they try to equip it... Oh, they just go to combat. Weird. They don't even equip it to the Goblin. Okay, that's really good for us. Then we'll just go end of turn Fact or Fiction. If they counter this, that's totally fine. Oh, they didn't equip because we would draw 4. Right, that makes sense. Mana Leak. Okay, that's fine. Also, we will put 2 counters on the Coalition Relic. Or put a counter on the Coalition Relic and then untap. Spell Pierce, good draw. That's in blue. We'll play Karn and plus. Or do we do Karn and minus? Actually, I'll Karn and minus. We have... The cards are flowing already. We go land. If we play Suspicious Stowaway, we cannot hold up Spell Pierce and Mystic Confluence. So I think I'm just going to pass. Do we want to attack? Yes, I think we do. Consecrated Sphinx is putting in some good work for us here. Council Judgment's a good one. That's an answer to the Deceiver Exarch. Okay, they do clamp this. This is fine. They get to draw 2. We draw 4. That's a pretty even exchange, honestly, since we already have so many cards. But I think we let this happen. Solitude should seal the deal. Wheel of Fortune. All right, definitely spell piercing that. All right, there we go. We destroyed Jeskai Twin there. Very good start. I'll see you in round 2. All right, we have our round 2 opponent. Hopefully we can keep it going. We get to be on the play here against MPIB. And good hand. We'll keep this. It's not amazing, but we have a turn 2 Accelerant. We have a turn 3 Interactive Spell. And then we have a lot of 4 and 5 mana plays in our deck. So hopefully we can find something to play on those turns by that point. And then worst comes to worst, we can just have Consecrated Sphinx on 5. Opponent keeps 7 here. I think we want to be playing against just another grindy deck, and we can outgrind them. Mountain is the worst. Okay, this is the absolute last thing we wanted to see here. Hopefully they at least flip us a land. We're definitely bringing in Faith Fetters from the board. Okay, they do give us a land. Let's see what we draw, but we're probably playing the Everflowing Chalice here. Oh, actually, I'm just going to stall for a turn. We don't really need extra mana this turn. We can just put this on top of their library and then Council Judgment their next play and preserve our life total. They're playing blue. Very weird. I don't think you should ever play Goblin Guide in a blue deck for the most part. Maybe if they have like really good fixing and they have Ancestral Recall or something. Nice. They give us yet another land. Let's put this into their deck. Or on top of their deck. If they counter this, that's great. Okay, yeah, that's just not that strong of a play. Do we want to use Council Judgment on the Goblin Guide? Probably not. I think I'm just going to play Everflowing Chalice, but we'll see what we draw. Click. Okay, yeah, let's just play the Chalice. They could play Dak Faden and steal this, which would be a little annoying, but not the end of the world. If one of our first two lands was a duel, that would have been significantly better. I would much rather play Click than Chalice here, but it's fine. Okay, another blue source. We'll see if they give us yet another land. Nice. Goblin Guide has been an Ancestral Recall for us, but it's also dealt us 6 damage. No play. All right. Land. All right, let's play Coalition Relic. Hopefully this resolves, and then we can play Click. If they counter this, it's a little awkward, but we can still go. We'll take 2, and then just play 2 3-mana plays next turn, and that's fine. Okay, they do mana leak us. It is what it is. We have a good play lined up for next turn. See, this is just not good. Like, you're hitting us for 2 while countering our spells, but giving us cards. Like, you're trading 1 for 1 while giving us cards. You really want to be pairing this with other aggressive stuff, not interaction like this. I think this is not a viable plan. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, we could easily die this game. Okay, finally they don't give us land. We do have a Treachery, but I don't even want to take this, I think. And I definitely don't want to jam a 5-mana Sorcery Speed play into what they have going on there. So I'm just going to go Island. I think I will fire off a Council's Judgment here. And if it resolves, then that we're under no more pressure. And if it doesn't resolve, then maybe our Click is more likely to. All right, that works. Now we'll go for the draw step Click, and I really like our position. We're ahead on mana, we have more cards in hand. Our life total is a little bit low, but we're nowhere near burn range. Hopefully they don't have a play end of turn. Like Shark Typhoon would be a bit annoying. Okay, just hardcast Brazen Borrower is fine. Then we'll draw step Click them. If they counter this, also fine. We have Treachery to follow it up. And I'll trade this with the Brazen Borrower if we can. They might have a burn spell for the Click, but that's okay. Ooh. This is a good hand. I think I'm going to take the Flametongue Yearling. I think we can outcard advantage them. So they probably play. Oh, they play Jace, bounce, Click. Totally fine. We take 3. But then we can go Treachery into Consecrated Sphinx, which is really strong play. They can bounce their own Brazen Borrower, but then we're not taking a hit. Wall of Omens is decent. I still think I want to get Consecrated Sphinx down this turn, though. So we'll take this, untap all our lands. We could also go wall plus... No, I think it's just got to be correct to jam this. We'll leave up an island in case we draw Spell Pierce, pass turn. They can bounce Consecrated Sphinx and hit us with Layla if they want to. But we know they don't have much burn in their hand. And Karn is just weak here. It doesn't do much at all. Ooh, no Spell Pierce, but some heavy hitters. They draw another mountain, so they have these 2 and 1 unknown. They can bounce their Consecrated, or the Brazen Borrower, but they don't have enough blue to play, to do all the stuff. Okay, they do bounce their dude. That's totally fine. They have Petty Theft available. But then what? Play Layla and don't attack? I mean, they can Petty Theft the Consecrated Sphinx. Okay, sure. Oh, and then play Layla. Okay, I guess that's fine. We take 3. Let's see what... I mean, they probably won't be able to hit anything they can cast. They could have, like, a Mox. Expressive Iteration. Okay, I'm glad that's going away. That's a good card. Now, how much mana do we have? 4, 7, 8. So we could play Teferi, Tuck Layla, and Consecrated... and Vendilion Click. We could also play Teferi and Plus, and then try and use that mana for Click. How would that look? So we have... Then if essentially Teferi would cost 3, so we would have 5 mana left over, so we could play Wall of Omens plus Click. That seems pretty good. Yeah, let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Teferi. Plus Teferi. Elspeth Conquers Death is a good draw. Play Wall of Omens, which can block Layla. Solitude was a phenomenal draw. I think Solitude should probably seal the deal. Then we'll untap 2 lands. We can even Solitude our own Vendilion Click if we need to find some life gain. Teferi is incredible in this situation. We have so many ways to use our mana at instant speed. Okay, Torrential Gearhulk. I don't care about either of these cards that much. I think I'm going to take the Karn, though. Or do we just take nothing? No, I'll take the Karn. Gearhulk is not very impressive here. I mean, it's like a 5-power dude, but we have lots of ways to block that or exile it or something. They can brainstorm if they want, and then they'll probably find an untapped land. But we'll be in good shape to kill their Click, or to use the Click to kill their Jace if they do that. Okay, they do brainstorm. Part of me wants to just fire off Solitude on Elspeth Conquers Death, and exile Elspeth Conquers Death to get rid of this so they can't attack and get value off of that. But they do have land, so that no longer works. They have Mana Leak available. What is this? Koth of the Hammer. Jeez, this is a bizarre deck. Okay. I am going to take out Layla now for sure. Oh, really? They drew Remand? That's brutal. We can play Solitude again, but that's pretty bad. We're going to have to block both of these. I don't want to go down to 2 life. They attack us with both. I mean, well, maybe we could go to 2. Yeah, I want to kill the Click. I actually am going to go to 2. I don't like being at 2 life at all, but I think this is the right play. So we block that. We can tuck Koth, or tuck Layla, actually. Layla might be scarier. No, let's tuck the Koth. We're going to Solitude Layla. We have 8, 9 mana, so we can Solitude Layla and play Karn to make a blocker. Alright, so we're dead to a burn spell, which they might have. But... Oh, they conceded! Yes! Okay, weird game. That was a sweet game. It was a really cool one. Our opponent's deck is very strange. They have a lot of counter magic, some tempo elements. I don't know about Goblin Guide. I mean, it did push 8 damage there, which was relevant. But, so we're playing against blue-red, aggro, tempo. Oh, they just conceded the match. Alright, on to the finals. Let's get that trophy. Alright, we have our round 3 opponent. Can we win the die roll? We cannot win the die roll, but we can have a good hand. I think I'm just going to be firing off Time Walk as an explorer here, probably. It's not a sexy use of it, but we have so much card draw, we just want to not fall behind. Okay, given that we drew Wall of Omens, I might just play Wall of Omens on turn 2. Plateau, still no play, that's good for us. Alright, we'll play the wall, hoping to draw lands. Nice. Fairy, bouncing wall is not effective, so they'll just plus it. Now we really want to draw a land here. Nice, okay, so we can play Time Walk. And then play Karn. And minusing isn't that good. Neither is playing Everflowing Chalice, so let's just plus. And they'll probably give us a land. Oh, no lands. Spell Pierce is a complete brick because of the Teferi, but they somehow still gave us the Signet. That's very good for us. I guess they're expecting the Teferi will die sometime soon, which is reasonable. They might just minus it for a card here. They do plus again, alright. If they're playing combo, this could be bad. But if they're playing control, we can just operate at sorcery speed and probably still win. Prismatic Vista, okay. And they pass. So we want lands, hopefully. Okay, they'll definitely give us the island here. So we can play island, play Signet, and play Gideon, and that sort of really encourages them to counter the Gideon. They can bounce the token, but we still, that's like not that bad for us. Okay, this works. We'll make it 2-2 and pass. We're ahead on mana. We're basically even on cards. We're ahead on board. We have 2 Planeswalkers. I think this is a pretty good position for us. And our hand is stacked, too. Our hand is very good. Treachery is a little bit awkward against Little Teferi. We'll see what they have here. Oh, a Fractured Identity. They could have Fractured Identity or Gideon. That would be really bad. Please don't have Fractured Identity. They go Fractured Identity Gideon, bounce the knight, make a knight, and then we're just in a really bad position. I guess we could minus Karn to get our own Little Teferi, which would be decent. Yeah, I think if they don't have Fractured Identity, we're in a great position, and if they do, we're in a bad position. If they have their own big Teferi, we can pressure it pretty well with Gideon. I guess if they go Gideon or Teferi, big Teferi plus and have a counterspell, we're in bad shape. No, wait, they take Karn. Super weird. They definitely should have taken Gideon there. I guess they really didn't want us to play Little Teferi, but this is totally fine. Elspeth Conquers Death was a great draw. But I think we just go Everflowing Chalice into Solitude. Or even Treachery. Actually, yeah, let's Treachery this. Yeah, I think Treacherying this is good. Then we can plus Gideon to kill one of their Planeswalkers and Elspeth Conquers Death to kill the other one. That's not the best use of Elspeth Conquers Death, though. But I do like the idea of killing both of their Planeswalkers. Yeah, let's do this. Then we'll play Everflowing Chalice for 1. Elspeth Conquers Death. Exile their Teferi. We want to exile the Teferi because now they can't get it back in any way if they have their own Elspeth Conquers Death or something. We'll kill their Karn and pass turn. And now we're in a really good position. We have a good board. We have a Planeswalker. Our hand is still good. We have a big mana advantage. If they kill something, we can bring it back with Elspeth Conquers Death. And yeah, I mean, this is a really, really good hand. There's a decent chance we won't be able to bring back something with Elspeth Conquers Death, but I don't think that's too important here. They hardcast Muldrifter, okay. Play Mountain and pass. Vendilion Click, alright. Let's go main phase. Mystic Confluence, or Memory Deluge. And then we're planning to try and trade the click with one of their things. Okay, do we want to take land? Yeah, we definitely want to take the ferry. And I think I'm just going to take Deserted Beach here. And then our hope is that, yeah, we can trade the click and then bring it back with Elspeth Conquers Death as a 4-2. Do we want to swing for 8 or make a knight? I think I will just swing for 8 here. So we're not going to draw step click them because we want to block the Muldrifter. Their spells all cost 2 more to cast also, so that limits somewhat the damage that they can do. And Fractured Identity is gone. That's like the scary card that they could have. Okay. Threat Dynamo's fine. We'll probably tuck that with Little Teferi, or with Big Teferi. Boros Signet. Okay, that's a lot of mana. Hopefully they attack. Oh, they don't attack. All right. Well, I still like our position a lot. We'll click them. And then we actually just have lethal. Yeah, that's just game. All right, sweet. So dominated Jeskai control, even though they had Fractured Identity. I think if they had Fractured Identity to take our Gideon, that would have been a tougher game for us to win. But they didn't. Their deck looks good, though. They have a lot of artifact mana, some really powerful multicolored cards. Fractured Identity is just like the best card ever in this matchup. So we'll have to be careful. Thieving Skydiver seems very good. They have a lot of artifacts. Riftwing, Cloudskate, and Fate's Fetters seem okay. I don't think Treachery is amazing. It was fine there. Let's bring in the Geist. Solitude is only okay. Wall of Omens is probably not necessary. I guess Riftwing is awkward against their Teferi. Fate's Fetters and Suspicious Stowaway. Do we want either of these? Fate's Fetters is pretty good for dealing with dealing with planeswalkers. But I think all these other cards might be better. I mean, I guess we could cut Factor Fiction maybe, but that just doesn't seem right. Fate's Fetters versus Geist. Think I still like the Geist? Yeah, let's run it like this. If they play turn 3 Teferi and we play turn 3 Geist, we win that exchange by a mile. Okay, I'll keep this hand. It's a little slow. Nothing until turn 3, but both the Fairies is good and Elspeth Conquers Death is good. All right. Good draw. Just a lot of Planeswalkers here. They have Jace. That's fine. We can bounce that with Teferi. Factor Fiction wasn't the best draw there, but it's not terrible. You can see how good a Mox would be in this deck. Imagine if we had a Mox and we could have played Teferi this turn. Basalt Monolith. Okay. I think we might actually want to bounce that instead of the Jace here. Yeah, that seems like the safer play. Bounce the Monolith and pass. Next turn we can play Gideon. And Gideon pressures their Jace pretty well, so I'm less concerned about this flipping. And then we have multiple pretty clean... Oh, they discard the Monolith. Death. Okay, sure. But we have pretty clean answers to huge things they could be ramping into. What is this? Expressive Iteration. Okay, don't care about that. We can outcard advantage them for sure with a hand like this. They get their planes, alright. They do have another play. Signet. Everflowing Chalice, sure. So we'll plus, play land, play Gideon, make a knight. Now they do have Fractured Identity mana, but we can just, we have answers. That's not too bad. I mean, they could take our Teferi, bounce our knight, flip Jace. I just don't even think that matters that much. And if they don't have Fractured Identity, then we're potentially untapping with 2 Planeswalkers. They're not flipping their Jace this turn, okay. If they don't do anything... Okay, they just play Mole Drifter. That's totally fine. I think we're just going to play Teferi then. Plus... Swing for 2. Make another knight. And... just jam Teferi. Our card draw is much better than their card draw. Daze was a good draw. Oh, it was an okay draw. We can cast it here. They have a decent amount of mana, but they're probably going to need to use their mana efficiently if they want to get back into this, given that we have 3 Planeswalkers on the battlefield. So they have 7 mana. Best case scenario is they just tap out for Karn, but that's probably pretty unlikely. They loot with Jace, and hopefully they flash back something, because none of the cards in the graveyard we care about at all. They're all just like card advantage that pales in comparison to our card advantage. Elspeth Conquers Death. Okay, that is annoying. We'll see what they take. My guess would be Big Teferi, but yeah, Big Teferi, sure. Then attack Little Teferi with the Mole Drifter. And flashback Charter Course, which will daze. That's my guess for what happens, but we'll see. They do attack Little Teferi, no surprise there. And then just play Charter Course. Alright, we get some value out of the days. Not the best days ever, but definitely not bad. Not a good draw there. So we'll plus... do we want to plus? I think I will plus this. Hit them for 7 and hit Jace for 2. And then we could play Elspeth Conquers Death to take out their Mole Drifter. Or we could go after their Elspeth Conquers Death. I think I'm just going to Elspeth Conquers Death there. Elspeth Conquers Death. If they kill our Teferi, we get to bring it back in a couple turns. We wouldn't be able to hold up Mystic Confluence if we just passed because it would cost 2 more. 5 mana. Do they have a Fractured Identity? That would be bad. That would be really bad. They start by killing our Teferi. Yeah, if they have Fractured Identity, then we're going to die. Because they exile our Elspeth Conquers Death and get back Gideon. And then exile our Gideon. Upheaval. Whoa. Okay, weird card for them to be playing. I guess they do have a lot of artifact mana, though. That's really good against us. Our hand is really bad now. Yeah, we're probably going to die. Unfortunate. We don't have any Moxen or any good draws, really, here. Yeah, Upheaval is super good against us. Our deck is so slow. Everflowing Chalice was probably our best draw, but we're still really slow. So, discard a bunch of lands. I think we discard all of these. They play Teferi, so they can bounce our Chalice. And we're behind. Upheaval is good. Play Signet. Next turn we can play Signet into Chalice. Karakas. Okay, that's good against Gideon being a creature. But it's not too good against us in general. We'll see what they have here. I mean, if they have a Planeswalker that puts pressure on us, we're in bad shape. But if they just bounce Teferi... Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, that's totally fine. So we'll go... Plains, Simic Signet. Really hope this resolves. Nice. Now we can play Everflowing Chalice for 1. And now, even if they bounce one of our... Or they can't bounce one of our things, we can make a good play. They know we have Elspeth Conquers Death in hand. They have 5 mana. I mean, if they want a Fractured Identity, one of these things, that's totally fine. Oh, they just replay Muldrifter? Sure. I think I'm just going to Elspeth Conquers Death to take out the Teferi here. That seems pretty good. And then next turn we can play Gideon plus Vendilion Click. I don't really care about the Muldrifter being in play. I mean, it's fine if they can recur it again, but the Teferi is much scarier here. I want to be able to unlock Mystic Confluence also. Now, if they have Fractured Identity for our Elspeth Conquers Death, that's bad, but if they don't have it right here, then we can Vendilion Click to take it away. And the Karakas can bounce our Vendilion Click, but we still get value off of the cast. Okay. We just get to untap. That's pretty good for us. I think I like Click plus Gideon better than Mystic Confluence, although it is somewhat close. Still think we're doing that. Karn was a good draw, though. We'll make a dude and pass. Now, hopefully they don't have... Well, Fractured Identity already costs 7. They cycle Miscalc. Okay. We'll play Click. What you got? They do have the Fractured. They also have Karn. But we're definitely taking Fractured Identity here. They can't play the Karn because it costs extra. They're holding Expansion Explosion. They play Island. If they sweep our board, that gives us more options for Elspeth Conquers Death. They could bounce the Click with Karakas, but then we can get rid of their Karn. They could play Expansion Explosion. No, Expansion Explosion is unplayable here. Okay, they do attack. Interesting. I'm happy to trade here. I have no idea what they're playing. Maybe they thought they could play Karn and they forgot that this makes it cost 2 more. That Click taking away their Fractured Identity was huge. Oh, Thran Dynamo. Okay. Well, they have a lot of mana. Let's bring back Teferi and bounce their Thran Dynamo. Bouncer Dynamo. I guess we could play Geist and hold up Mystic Confluence. And then they could play Wrath of God, and I think I honestly might just let that resolve. I'm not going to plus Gideon because they have the dude. Actually, no. Playing Geist is not that good here. Well, I think it's still actually worth it. Because that sort of forces them to use the Wrath, and I don't want them to be able to cast Karn. So we'll make a dude. Play land. Actually, no. I'm just going to hold up Mystic Confluence, I think. Or do we even just let them have their Karn and play, and then play our Karn? Maybe that's actually the play. Yeah, I think I like that. Let's go Karn. And minus to make it do. And then they sort of have to use Wrath of God. So they could go like Threat Dynamo into Wrath. But yeah, I think that seems pretty good. Cast Karn. Oof. Huh, they concede. All right, there we go. Got the trophy. Pretty sweet. So this was our blue-white control deck, and it was completely sweet. We didn't drop a game. We actually got we only played 5 games and got a trophy with that, so that's pretty sweet. We had very good card draw, good mana. We got lucky to play against mostly slow decks. I guess we played against that one blue-red weird deck, but we never played against mono-red or mono-white, which is what we really wanted to avoid. And that made this deck just incredible. We had great ways to exile their problematic permanents with Elspeth Conquers Death, Banishing Light, Council Judgment. We could also delay their problematic permanents with Unexpectedly Absent and both the fairies. Great card draw, Time Walk. We had a lot of mana acceleration to ramp into these, some counter magic. The mana was not great, but we got, pretty lucky. We weren't playing any colored. I guess we had 2 duels, and we weren't playing any colorless mana. But that could have been worse, and it wasn't, which I'm pretty grateful for. All around, just a sweet deck. Blue-white control is the best archetype in the format, in my opinion. And it was pretty open here, and we got a really, really sweet deck. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.